Hey, what is up YouTube? This is Merman Master coming at you guys from Team Time Riders YouTube channel today with a brand new deck profile for you guys on a deck that I have been working on for a little bit of time. I've had several ideas about this deck, but as you guys know, the thing that I care first and foremost about when it comes to the game of Yu-Gi-Oh is building decks that are both fun to play and fun for your opponents to fight against. Maximizing the fun level is sort of really why I'm continuing to play this game. And this deck today is going to blow you guys' minds, in my personal opinion. You guys can already see by the one card that we have here that this is not going to be a normal Dark Magician deck profile. And what I wanted to do was sort of like give a shout out to all of the kind of old support cards that Yugi used to run way back in the day. And I'm going to explain to you a little bit how the deck works, the future of the deck, and what my plans are. I will note in the beginning, I'm not going to mention anything about most of the commonly run Dark Magician cards because everyone's already supposed to know what they do. So I don't really need to mention the stuff again. But let's get started on this deck profile. So, starting off, guys, we have the similar 3 cards here. We've got 3 copies of Dark Magician. Any Dark Magician deck has to run 3 copies of this card. Any less than that is not needed. I personally like these 3 favorite arts the best because they're the least used arts. Everyone always likes that old one, but I feel like it's too... These 3 arts, I think, pop a lot more than the other ones. And I specifically wanted to hunt down an ultra copy of this so that I can match the other 2 ultra rare new arts rather than just have 2 ultras and 1 secret. Of course, when we have 3 Dark Magicians, we must also have 1 copy of Dark Magician Girl. With the recent announcement of the new Lost Art promo, I'm looking forward to replacing this Dark Magician Girl with one of those. Really, really cool Dark Magician Girl card, and definitely something that I think people are going to like quite a lot when it comes out. So that's it for those. Of course, moving on, we have 2 copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. I'm looking to possibly bump this up to 3 when I fix the deck up a little bit more and put in some more of my strategies. But basically, this is great for getting out Dark Magician from your deck to your hand. And it can happen, keep in mind, even if it's not special summoned by its own effect. So if you get it back by a different effect, you can still use Apprentice Illusion Magician. And she's also got a cool Honest effect. Now, moving on, one of the strongest cards in this deck, and one of the cards you'll be normal summoning most often, Magician's Rod. You fetch a Dark Magician spell or trap that lists Dark Magician in its card text from your deck to your hand, and then if it's in the graveyard, except during the damage step, and a if you activate a spell or trap card, then you contribute a spellcaster type monster and add this card from your graveyard back to your hand. So really, really good. Like if you're activating, Eternal Soul, and then you special summon Dark Magician, but you don't need it on the field. Like if it's in your end phase, you special summon the Dark Magician, tribute it for Magician's Rod, and then Magician Rod gets added back to your hand. Next, of course, we have the Magician of Dark Illusions. A lot of people run this at 2. I cut him down to 1 copy. 1 copy, I think, works absolutely great, and he's just an extra Dark Magician on the field. Too bad he's not one in the hand or graveyard, but there's not really anything you can do about that, and just a little bit of extra, push room and nice level 7 monster. Now, moving on to the cards that not a lot of people maybe were playing before, but this is where the deck starts to get spicy. 1 copy each of Palladium Oracle Mana and Palladium Oracle Mahad. Now, I'm putting out a video as well with the talking about the brand new Dark Magician support, and the Dark Magician support plays so well into these 2. Now, Mahad used to be a card that was run in most casual builds because it's kind of like, you top deck this card off the top of your deck, and then you can special summon it to the board, and it doubles as attack power when attacking against a dark monster. And Mana's in here for when you don't have like Eternal Soul. Spellcaster type monster gets targeted, you can special summon this from the hand or graveyard, and then when it gets destroyed, you can special summon a Dark Magician Girl from pretty much anywhere but the banish zone. So the idea is you can set up kind of like a loop of card effect destruction where Mana will special summon, you have a card effect activate or whatever, Mana gets special summon, and then Mana will destroy itself special Dark Magician Girl, and then if Dark Magician Girl is targeted for destruction or effect again, you can special summon mana and keep repeating the sort of outlet. But these guys are also really good for one of the spell cards that we're running as well in the deck, which you guys no doubt are aware of. And now we are getting into the spice of the deck, guys, and this is the point where I wanted to show you guys, and I'm going to explain a little bit about what I'm running here. So, starting out, guys, 1 copy of Sorcerer of Dark Magic, 1 copy of Dark Eradicator Warlock, 1 copy of Dark Magician Knight, and 1 copy of Mirage Knight. Now, no other Dark Magician player that I've ever seen has decided to run all of these cards. And the reason that I'm running them is because I wanted to create a Dark Magician deck that kind of gave a shout out or like a, you know, harken back to those really, really old support cards that were just sort of bricky and that nobody would ever run in a normal circumstance. But now with all of the Dark Magician stuff out right now, it's become so much easier to be able to run these cards in a very, very strong version of Dark Magician. And it's just so interesting to be able to play each of these cards because nobody sees them coming, so, you know, people will definitely be surprised when they see these cards out on the board. You know, first and foremost, of course, Sorcerer of Dark Magic is a blanket omni-negate for any trap cards, save for counter traps. So basically, I've actually used this card to win against both a Paleo and a Altergeist deck because they could not activate any traps because this card more than once per chain can negate any normal or continuous trap cards that your opponent is going to activate, which makes it extremely potent against all these different decks. And when your opponent can't activate trap cards, pretty much the game is sort of settled in your favor. You get one of these guys out, you can't get evenly matched if you fail to kill your opponent during main phase 2, so he's good. The only downside to this guy, of course, is that he is not searchable, but if there ever does become a way to get him out of the deck, definitely want to run him. Really cool card, and everyone always loves seeing him when he comes out. Dark Eradicator Warlock is also a kind of fun card because you basically use a Dark Magician to tribute over him. And so the sort of impetus and modus operandi of this deck is always try to have a Dark Magician on the field every turn so you can use it for different effects. But Eradicator Warlock, what he does is he can be tributed over a Dark Magician. And when you tribute him over a Dark Magician, he is not a Dark Magician himself, but gains an extra special ability, which is that every time a normal spell card is activated, which is going to be quite often, you can activate his effect to inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent. So the ideal play would be to get Dark Magician out, tribute for Eradicator Warlock, and then have Eradicator Warlock on the field as you're doing some crazy plays, activating a whole bunch of normal spell cards, and then inflicting a whole bunch of damage to your opponent to get them down to a point where like maybe 1 or 2 Dark Magicians will be able to kill them. Next card, of course, Dark Magician Knight. Really love this card and always wanted to find a use for him. What he does is you can use Knight's Title, which is actually a searchable card in this deck. Use Knight's Title to get this guy out. He comes out as a warrior, which is great if you want to go into that Gaia as well. So he has that extra added benefit. But when he comes to the field, he automatically pops a card. Make sure that you summon him when you have a card on your opponent's side of the field because his pop is mandatory, and if there's nothing to target on their field, he's going to have to target on yours. And finally, of course, Mirage Knight, one of the coolest cards way back from Dark Crisis, one of my all-time favorite packs. Mirage Knight can only be special summoned when you have a Dark Flare Knight be destroyed by battle, and then you special summon this from the deck. So it kind of works like Assault Mode. Good thing about it, Eye of Timaeus can easily get out Dark Flare Knight with just a Dark Magician. Mirage Knight kind of works like a very old school Honest, and it's oh so fun to see him come out and wreck people. All right, that's it for the monsters. You guys might be asking why there's no Magician Souls in this deck. If you want to know the answer to that question, pretty much I'm going to have a video link in the description to a video that I'm going to upload where I discuss the impotence of why running Magician Souls is not needed. Now, moving on to the spell cards. First starting things off, we've got 3 copies of Dark Magical Circle. This is the main Dark Magician spell card. I don't think I really need to explain this. Good removal, good Pot of Duality style searching effect. That's pretty much all you need to know. I shouldn't have to explain this stuff to you guys. 2 copies of Eye of Timaeus. This is actually one of the best cards in this deck because this enables so many plays from the extra deck. You can go Dark Paladin, you can go into Amulet Dragon, you can go into, you know, so many other different types of cards. And to sort of discuss, you know, a little bit of those kind of combo plays that you can do, I'll show you one of them exactly right now. So the last 2 monsters in the deck, which I did kind of forget to mention, of course, were the 2 copies of Keeper of Dragon Magic. This is a great card used to search polymerization out of your deck, but its more important ability is that you can reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck and special summon one of its materials face down. Now, materials can be face down when you use them for fusion summons, but this is just really great to be able to get out Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl or any one of those cards that you need in order to conduct a fusion summon. And the fact that he's dragon pretty much opens up all your dragon fusions. Most importantly, aside from Amulet Dragon, of course, the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, who counts as Dark Magician on the field. So really good card in that relation. But getting back to Eye of Timaeus, the Dark Magician has to be on the field. So basically, with Eye of Timaeus and things like Knight's Title and stuff like that, you always want to have Dark Magician on the field every single turn without using up your normal summon. And I've, you know, sort of baked in ways in this deck to be able to do that. But like all those cards that you see, you know, and all those special monsters in the extra deck, like Dark Magician Knight and Dark Eradicator Warlock, and those guys always require you to have Dark Magician, or at the very least Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl on the field. So it's very important that we have sort of a strategy to get them onto the board. Next cards that we're running in the deck are our fusion spells. Of course, the one of searchable polymerization. You don't need really any more of this. It can be a brick, but getting your Dark Magicians and stuff to your graveyard is really nice. So you just search the card out of your deck and then get its effect off. But the more important fusion spell that you have in here are 2 copies of Secrets of Dark Magic. Now, I'm going to tell you why this card is so important. I had this in here at 1, had to bump it up to 2 because of just how good it is. It's not only a discard outlet for Dark Magician stuff that gets completely dead in your hand, but it is a fusion spell that can be activated during your opponent's turn, and more importantly, allows you to get out some really awesome monsters. So we've got dragons in the deck, we have warriors in the deck. That opens up all the different types of fusions that have come out for Dark Magician thus far. And so Secrets of Dark Magic really comes in like super handy for allowing you to make these kinds of plays that, you know, you wouldn't have access to with Eye of Timaeus. Like before, the only way that you could fusion summon in this deck was using Eye of Timaeus and polymerization. So if you didn't draw the poly or you didn't search the poly, you were pretty much stuck because you had no Dark Magician that you could put on the field. But with Secrets of Dark Magic, it gets a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl out of your hand and gives you a fusion monster for your troubles. So works so well. My favorite play by far with this is actually if you have Dark Magic Circle on the field, you use Secrets of Dark Magic to special summon your Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, and then get a banish during your opponent's turn, which really nice play from there. Next card we're running is by far the best card in the deck, and that is 2 copies of Soul Servant. I'm planning on bumping this up to 3 because I like it so much. But Soul Servant is the reason why the deck has changed for the better in so many ways. And most people like to use this card for its second effect. The most competitive people like to use it for its second effect. But let me just say, guys, this card is absolutely awesome. Basically, what this card allows you to do is stack any card that has Dark Magician in its card text, or specifically list Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, except for Soul Servant itself, from your hand, deck, from your hand, field, graveyard, wherever, to the top of your deck. And what this basically means is if you put it on the top of your deck, you know, you get to pretty much either guarantee that you're going to draw it next turn, or, for instance, if you have Soul Servant in your hand and you have Dark Magic Circle, you can activate Dark Magic Circle, chaining Soul Servant puts what you want on the top of your deck, Dark Magic Circle reveals, and then you basically add that card to your hand. This works even better with the fusion monster, the Dark Magicians, which I do need to get a copy of. I currently do not have one. But basically what you do with that is you use Soul Servant with the Dark Magicians to, you know, activate that, and then Soul Servant will stack a card on the top of your deck, probably like a Eternal Soul. Dark Magician's effect will activate since you activated a spell or trap, allowing you to draw a card from the top of your deck, and if it's a spell or trap, you can set the card to your field, and if it's a trap, you can activate it that turn. So you pretty much get a free copy of Eternal Soul on your board, which just is fantastic. Soul Servant is also super good because of its graveyard effect. For each differently named Dark Magician Girl, or Palladium monster in your graveyard, you can draw a card by banishing this card. So pretty much you banish the Soul Servant, and if you've got Magician, Girl, Mahad, and Mana in your graveyard, you draw 4 cards off the top of your deck, which is just absolutely insane. Best part as well, guys, I will mention, is stacking Mahad off the top of your deck, and then drawing into Mahad and being able to instantly special summon him, because he only activates when you draw a card. So kudos to Konami for basically making support that actually makes Mahad super viable to run in every Dark Magician deck. He's one of the coolest cards that's ever come out for the deck, and it's just so wonderful that we're able to run him non-ironically. Next, of course, don't need to explain this, Illusion Magic. Discard 1 to tribute a spellcaster, and add 2 Dark Magicians from your deck to your hand. Very good. Now, 1 copy of Dark Magic Attack. Possibly going to bump this up to 2. Very searchable card. Really good for the deck. 1 copy of Thousand Knives. Still need the secret rare version of this. I'm trying to make this deck kind of as max rarity as I can get it without trying to track down DDS Dark Magicians. Give it sort of its own identity, but Thousand Knives is just the monster destruction effect. Nobody ever runs this card, but I actually really like it. Next card that might come as a surprise to people that I am running is 1 copy of Dark Magic Curtain. Now, this card was neutered significantly from the show. Basically, you can't activate or summon anything else when you have it on the field. But Dark Magic Curtain gives you direct access to a Dark Magician from your deck. And if you have, it doesn't prevent you from activating the spell card, or like any spells or traps. It just prevents you from summoning any more monsters, but you can set on your board. But this, you know, allows you, if you've got the circle, to get a first turn banish. Now, moving on, guys, we have 1 copy of Bond Between Teacher and Student. One of the best cards in this entire deck. It's just so good. Basically, if you've got Dark Magician on the field, use Dark Magician Girl, and then you can set any 4 cards. You can set Dark Burning Magic, Dark Burning Attack, Dark Magic Twin Burst, or Dark Magic Attack. And that's really good. The card that you like to set, though, is Dark Burning Magic, because you got Magician and Girl onto the field, and then Dark Burning Magic can trigger during your opponent's turn and destroy all cards they control. So cool that we got a card like Bond Between Teacher and Student that just makes this deck so fun to play. Like, I think this is more fun, for me at least, than Blue Eyes and Red Eyes. 1 Dark Magic Inheritance, banish 2 spells to do a search, and finally, of course, Knight's Title. You guys knew it was coming, and here it is. Knight's Title is searchable off of all the cards that search Dark Magician stuff, because it's got Dark Magician in its card text. It's one of my favorite cards to search because nobody ever sees it coming. So like, oh, god dang it, I'm playing Dark Magicians again, but then you activate Circle, chain your Soul Servant, and then stack Knight's Title on the top of your deck so you can search it to your hand, and instantly the opponent who you're playing against, who thought he was going to hate playing against your Dark Magician deck, is all of a sudden excited to see whether or not you're going to summon Dark Magician Knight and make this a super fun duel. And so I really like Knight's Title because it's a card that leads to so many fun interactions in this game. And I do love it for that reason. Next cards are, so that's it for the spells. Moving on to the traps. Of course, the deck wouldn't be complete without 3 copies of Navigation. A lot of people are bumping this card down to 1. I really do like it. It's a little bit of a reactive card, too much, but I really think that its strength lies in its graveyard ability. Its graveyard ability is just absolutely fantastic. When you control a Dark Magician, banish it to negate a spell or trap. When lightning storms and stuff hit, you're pretty much going to get your entire board wiped because you have no way to protect the spell and traps on your field unless you have the dragon monster. So Magician's Navigation and Graveyard can come in impossibly clutch in the best situations. Now, the best trap in this deck is, without a doubt, Eternal Soul. Eternal Soul, I don't even need to explain this card. It's just so good. Just the searching for the dark magic attack and the special summoning the Dark Magicians during either player's turn. This is one of the main ways that you get Dark Magician out on the board, so you can do all those crazy, awesome plays. And then finally, closing things out for 43 cards in the deck is Magician's Combination. This is not the best trap, but I like it in here at 1. It just is, it's a really cool card. You know, if you got Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl and you're sort of going through them in your graveyard, this allows you to do some extra negation and stuff on board, which is pretty nice. And then when it goes to the graveyard for whatever reason, you can destroy a card on the field, and that effect is non-targeting. So good thing to note as well. That's it for the deck. I am working on lots of different stuff with that, but moving on to the extra deck, I am missing a couple of cards, chiefly the fusion monster, the Dark Magicians, which far and away is the best fusion monster in this entire deck. Bar none. I'm missing the Amulet Dragon, and I'm also missing, unfortunately, Dark Paladin. But I've got a bunch of other stuff as well that I'm going to show off to you. First and foremost, Ebon Illusion Magician and Ebon High Magician. Ebon Illusion is just great for getting more Dark Magicians and stuff out of your deck. Really awesome card, and allows you, when it's when a normal monster attacks, to just banish something your opponent controls. Ebon High is a card that I actually find myself going into quite a lot. Not for his first effect, but for his second effect, to special summon a Dark Spellcaster from your hand or deck and then destroying a card on the field. This is actually super great for getting out some of your other different types of spellcasters, searching Dark Magicians, and is way less restrictive than any other card that allows you to special summon from the deck in this deck. So definitely a really good card, even if it is a bit reactive. Now moving on to the typical cards. Of course, guys, we have Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight, and Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight, is one of only 2 cards in this extra deck that uses Girl, the other being the Dark Magicians, the monster card, the fusion monster, which is really great if you have a Girl and no Magician, because most of the cards in this deck require Magician. Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight, battle phase, sort of discard 1, destroy. Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, counts as Dark Magician on the field and also protects some of your cards from destruction. And now for the final 2 cards in this extra deck, we've got 1 copy of Dark Cavalry and 1 copy of Dark Flare Knight. These are really awesome cards. Mirage Knight, like a bricked Mirage Knight and a bricked Dark Magician Knight, can easily lead you into a Dark Cavalry play with your fusion spell card. Since you have no way to get them onto your field, that's why that fusion spell is so good, because it'll unbrick bricky cards like that from your hand and turn them into something like Dark Cavalry, which has a great negation effect, gains a powerful amount of attack power on a regular basis, and also inflicts piercing. And then you've, of course, got the Dark Flare Knight, which, you know, you can attack into your opponent's monster, destroy it, and then bring out a Mirage Knight and just totally screw up their day with that. But guys, that's going to finish up our deck profile right now. 43 cards in the main deck, and of course the extra deck is still under construction. But the plan with this deck is to try and get all of Yugi's old style Dark Magician support in here in some way, shape, or form. And of course, guys, that includes the one and only Dark Sage. The current build that I have right now that I'm working on is going to be a 60 card Dark Sage turbo deck. And I'm super excited to be able to show that to you guys once it finally nears its completion. But, you know, it's sort of something that I've been working on for quite a while, and something that I'll be super excited to show you when that time comes. But guys, this has been the Mermail Master with the Team Time Riders YouTube channel. If you guys like the video, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell notification if you'd like to see more updates. And with that, guys, I'm signing out. Peace.